So, we have our three topics tonight that we're going to be discussing. As a woman, how do you balance family and close friendships, considering your spouse is your priority? The second one is, as an introvert or extrovert, how do you compromise or deal with a spouse that's an introvert, non-sociable, or complete opposite? And how do you handle being close with your spouse's family if they're not? All righty. So we're going to dive into this. So the first thing is, let's just talk about, as a woman or as a spouse, period. How do you balance family and close friendships, considering your spouse as a priority? So the biggest thing is setting expectation. Your spouse should be a priority most of the time. And so going to them and just saying, hey, I need some me time. I want to just go hang out, let my hair down, hang with my girls, my guys, whatever. And be able to do that. In a healthy relationship, you should be able to have that conversation and do that. And your spouse, on the other hand, should be accommodating to that and say, you know what, I understand it. We all have stressful times. We all have times where we just want to unwind and be okay with that. Now, the caveat to that is setting the expectations up front. So if you're going to a concert and you're going to be hanging out and it's going to be late, then you need to make sure your spouse knows that, hey, we're going to a concert. After the concert, we're going to go out to eat. Okay? Now, what concert? What concert?
Lionel Richie?
No, not Lionel Richie.
Janet Jackson?
Janet Jackson. Now, Lionel Richie, that's not going to be late because he going to be asleep. Like, his concert start like at 5:45.
Wow.
And they be over.
That's cold.
Like, they be over pretty quick.
That's so cold.
It's not cold. I mean, I'm just saying. Lionel Richie concert, yeah, usually he be in and out of there. If it's gonna be Janet Jackson, then yeah, it's probably gonna be late because she gonna put on a whole production.
You already know.
Which I love.
Which is great.
So that's my girl.
Excuse us. But
right.
It's I think the biggest part of it is, if you are going to you got to set those expectations with your significant other.
Right.
Your need for space. Now, that one saying, what was the question exactly?
How do you balance family and close friendships, considering your spouse is your priority?
So I guess the question also is this: are you only setting an expectation with your significant other, or are you setting an expectation with all parties involved? Since there's three groups that are called out. One is, of course, is your significant other.
Okay.
One is your family.
Okay.
The other one is your friends.
Okay.
So, is it that you're only setting the expectation with your hubby, or are you setting that expectation with everybody?
With everybody, like with the kids. If you have kids, and that's the family that we're talking about, then, or even if it's just your mom or whomever, just letting them know that, hey, I deserve some me time. I deserve some self-care time, and self-care may involve me hanging out with my friends. And so you don't want to deprive yourself just because you have other priorities. You can actually add that priority in, right?
Yeah.
And then with your spouse, like I said, have that conversation.
So,
and that don't mean you staying out until 5:00 in the morning. Now, we got to set some boundaries on that.
So I look at it like this: most, at least from when you're dealing with friends and you go into a relationship, it seems like they deem it more acceptable that you scale back the amount of time that you spend with them. Family, on the other hand, can be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Because there's still depending on what your role is in the family,
Mm-hmm.
say for example, I'm the tech guy,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm almost always on call. Having to scale that back and say, yo, right now I'm actually having date night with my wife. You gotta set that expectation too.
But my thing is, I'm not gonna account for my whereabouts when I'm with you. Like I don't think I should have to
Cause you grown.
because I'm grown. They'll find out afterwards. Like I mean, I'm not. I don't answer to anybody but you and God, of course. But
Mm.
I answer to you. So now, if you weren't there and you wanted to know where I was or what I was doing, that's a different story. But I'm not telling my mama. I'm not telling my mother-in-law. I don't have to tell nobody.
It's just something about the way you just said that though.
What?
You have the only thing you do is who? What?
The only person I'm accountable to
Yeah.
is you.
That ain't what you said though. That ain't
What I
you
say?
said. You said the only person I answer to.
Oh, whatever. The only person I answer to. Look at him. See? Just stop it. Stop.
This is recorded too. So
I got you. And even like with our oldest son, he always calls to check up on us to find out where we're at and what we're doing. I mean, we could just leave to go get something to eat. Hey, where y'all at? This one ain't none of your business.
he ain't my dad.
Right.
I mean, it's
But he's just accustomed to
knowing our whereabouts.
yeah.
And-
Because
and-
he's our emergency backup. So if anything happens, he needs to be able to tell the police where we was last at.
It's true, but I don't like the whole fact that he tracking my movements like a parent.
Anyways, I get it.
Or
I
like
get it.
a government agency.
Well, that's yeah, pretty much. All right, so let's move on. That right there brings us to the introvert extrovert. Okay, so just to be transparent, I am definitely the introvert in public. Okay, so the thing is, when we first met, you want to tell the story? Or you want me to tell the story? It's story time.
I want to hear your version. I always like hearing your
It's
version.
story time. So, when I get in a large crowd, I become extreme introvert because I kind of watch the room and I kind of check out what's happening around my surroundings before I let my guard down. So, we had only been dating for probably about a couple of weeks, maybe about a couple of weeks, right? So he takes me to a party at one of his friends' house. Well, I immediately just go sit on the couch and I start watching television. Now, mind you, people over here playing dominoes, people over here hanging out, drinking, people over here doing other stuff. I don't know. People out on the balcony just doing their thing, right? Talking and all that. So I sit on the couch. And so he's over, I guess, with the domino people, just talking. And so somebody said, hey, what's wrong with your girl? This dude proceeds to say, oh, she just antisocial. What? So immediately I had an attitude. Okay. I had attitude. So I just sat on the couch. I didn't say much. And so then not too long after that, a group of girls came in and they sat on the couch by me and they were watching TV, just not really saying anything. And they were like, y'all don't want to get up and do something or whatever. This dude says, oh, no, they just, what'd you say? They're just shy or something like that, he said.
Mm.
But I was antisocial. I was like, oh, okay. So at that moment, we almost didn't make it because I was like, this dude don't know me like that.
One of the many times that we almost didn't make it.
So one of our mutual friends came and actually went out on the patio and invited me out there. And so I became this social butterfly because, number one, she introduced me into a conversation. I wasn't just going to talk to random people. And number two, I felt like that's what he should have done. And he kind of left me. Like, he really left me on the couch because he knew everybody. He left me on the couch. So needless to say,
everybody.
yes, you did. Needless to say, that night I rode home. When he took me home, I was in the back seat. I was just like, dude, just take me home and let me out.
Uber before it was Uber.
If it would have been Uber, I would have been gone. But anyways, I say that just to say that you really have to, I guess, be mindful of your spouse. If your spouse is not a person that likes to go out, or if your spouse is not a person that likes to be social, you create opportunities for them to do that. And if they don't want to do it, then you ask them, okay, what's a good number? So last time we didn't go because I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable. So when can we go? Or in what setting do you feel comfortable? Because it definitely is. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is a stretch. Because if I'm going somewhere and it's somewhere that I'm unfamiliar with, then I have anxiety. I really do. So, what's your take?
I think there's a mean tug of war, and Amar, a good call out from earlier, um, as far as the family thing is concerned. Yeah,
Yep.
that's significant.
Yeah, that's true. Especially when your family has always been dependent on you prior to. Yes. Yes. Now, we'll get back to the introvert extrovert, but that's definitely a good call out because my mom was very upset when I got married, and me and her did everything together for the most part. Me, her, and the boys did everything. And so she was very upset when I got married and my priorities changed. And she blamed him. She said that he's the reason that me and the boys don't come around anymore. We're turning the boys against her and all that. And I'm like, no, that's not true. The fact is, priorities changed. And I wish that she at that moment had the fortitude to really think back when she was married to her second husband, and that's where her priorities were. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, she's a religious woman, faithfully religious woman, and she know the Bible. She know about the leave and cleave.
She know the word.
Yes, she know about the leave and cleave. So my thing was, it's more so of an emotional, I guess, response than anything else.
Yeah, that'll be a topic for another time where we talk about
emotional responses.
Well, people knowing the word, but also living by the word, especially when it comes to relationships.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But on that introvert extrovert thing, yeah, it's a mean tug of war. When you are, especially, well, I'll speak from the extrovert perspective. So, especially if you're in a new relationship now, that scenario that you spoke to, that was definitely a learning experience for me.
Yeah.
Simply because I didn't have the presence of mind to say, let me introduce my lady to all of the people here that I know, so she can start developing relationships or choose whether or not she wants to develop relationships with either my friends or my associates. Also, being mindful that I can't leave you out on a lifeboat by yourself, which is pretty much what I did.
Yeah. Because that gets me heated.
But there's also this thing where you really have this you have an internal struggle too. I think both for introvert and extrovert. As an extroverted individual with someone who's married to as an extroverted individual who's married to somebody who's introverted, you definitely have this this internal battle where you try and figure out how to pull them out of their shell. How to make sure.
But that's the thing. We don't want to be pulled out of our shell. That's the thing. Just leave us in our shell.
But that's the thing.
Like,
okay.
Just accommodate our shell.
Now here's where the challenge. Here's where an additional challenge comes into that.
Okay.
If the introvert does not want to come out of their shell,
yeah,
but the extrovert is like, I want to go do something. I want to go do something with this group of friends. There's another obstacle right there, because you're like, I want to go do something. You like, I want to stay in the house and chill and get some quality time. Or fine, you can go hang out with your friends, but once that becomes
the norm,
yeah,
it's a problem.
It's a problem.
But that's the thing. So if we set expectations and we say, okay, maybe one time out of the month we're gonna go hang out with friends, at least I have like a warning about, okay, and I can start thinking about it and I can start get my mind prepared to be out with people. Now, not to say that the day of I won't have anxiety and waver between, do I want to do this? I don't want to do this. Oh, okay. But over the years, I mean, I've gotten comfortable with doing it because I know that that's what you need. For you working from home for what, the last 7 years. I know that is something that I need to compromise on because you're in the house all day and then I'm around people all day. So your energy is being drained because you don't have interaction. My energy is being drained because I have too much interaction. And so, I mean, yeah. What?
Now, true enough, your energy is drained because, you have to deal with the drive, the face-to-face interactions and things like that. I am a bundle of energy because I have nowhere to direct it.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you said I was getting drained.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm
just saying that, okay, so based on MBTI, I am a certified Myers-Briggs type indicator, the personality assessment. I am a certified instructor for that. And so what the terminology is for a extrovert, they get their energy from being around people. And if they don't have those people or those interactions, what happens is they start to become drained. They desire that interaction. And it's the opposite for introverts. So as an introvert, when I have to give my attention to people, then I become drained because I recharge when I'm by myself or when I'm just having a sensing. And that's what they call it, sensing. So your 5 senses. Stop it. A sensing day, time, whatever. And so, I mean, that definitely plays a part. So we did our MBTI as a couple. And it's ironic because I thought that we were a little more different than what we are. So I'm an ISTJ and he's an ESTJ. And so with that extroverted side, and he's an extreme extrovert. I am.
Me?
What? That's what your report says. Dude. And so I am a slight introvert, which means that I can flex. And so that's what I choose to do. I do flex when the time comes. Some of our mutual friends, they're like, girl, you are not an introvert. Yes, I am. I force those conversations. Not that it's ingenuine, because I am, if I start talking to you, it's genuine. But I really have to think about those conversations. Like I have to really concentrate.
You have to be present.
Yeah, I have to concentrate. Because if not, I mean, I'm fine just watching people all day long. People are like, girl, why are you just sitting over here by yourself? I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's a tough thing for both of us because I think we're both people watchers.
Yeah.
We are curious about the nature of people and the way they interact with one another. I think we find value in that.
Yeah.
Because it helps us develop our own communication style with one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can say, ooh, I wouldn't have said that to her.
Yeah.
But
and I'm gonna just tell you right now, we do dissect people's relationships sometimes. Like we do have conversations about, people that we meet.
Judgmental.
It's not judgmental. It's just, we talk about, hey, how will we react? Or, how did that seem to you? It's nothing bad though. It's not, we not gonna.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, like, she jump up with like a knife and he jump up with a gun.
Well,
we're gonna judge that one.
That's a whole situation. Like
we might have to testify, but
right, I ain't testifying to nothing. I'm closing my eyes because I can't be in the courtroom without those people. I can't.
It's being recorded. They're gonna hit you up from jury duty. Go hit you up.
They already sent me a thing. I sent it back, so we'll see what happens.
Man. So that last question is, how do you handle being close with your spouse's family if they are not? I don't know. I don't know how that would be a challenge. Except the whole
Well,
fact that
I mean, because you want to bond with the family. And so if your spouse doesn't want to interact with their family, then it causes a rift because you have that disconnect on that side of the family.
true enough, I think I think sometimes you have to be proactive.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Hello, Dr.
Hey, Dr.
Ellis.
K.
I think there has to be if your significant other drops the ball in that area,
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to take proactive steps. Now,
True.
what you do hope they do is they tell you what the pitfalls and where the pitfalls are within your family
Mm-hmm.
to say, okay, look out for this person, look out for that person.
Right. Right.
There needs to be a manual for that. There needs to be.
Some stuff you live and learn, though.
True enough. Well, because you still gotta travel the journey in that relationship with the
Hey,
person.
Farron.
Hey.
Our fam is in the house.
You still have to take that walk down that path because true enough, if it's my mom, it's still your relationship with her.
Right. Right.
So,
It is.
So the things that are going to come from that relationship
Mm-hmm.
are going to be things that I cannot necessarily speak to.
Right. Right.
But at least I can tell you, hey, they got a tendency to do this. They got a tendency to do that.
Mhm.
Watch them. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Now, I'm not gonna let you fall in any pitfalls. I mean, have any pitfalls, because my whole thing is I'm gonna warn you, like, babe, don't say that in front of my mom because she crazy. She'll do this. Don't say that in front of my grandma because she'll take it out on me. Or don't say that in front of my aunt because she gonna be looking at you crazy.
Sitting sideways.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I mean, we do have to take in account that everybody's not going to have the same relationship with their spouse's family.
Right.
And if your spouse doesn't have that relationship, it's up to you to foster a relationship yourself without your spouse. Because sometimes there may be something deep rooted that, they haven't shared, or something that they just can't get over. And you just want to make sure that, especially if you want to have that relationship. Now, on the flip side, if somebody has hurt your spouse in the family, and
That's what it is, Barry.
if somebody has hurt your spouse in the family and they don't want to have anything to do with that person, then you really need to take heed of that. You really need to take heed, because forcing a relationship with that person may break down your relationship. What do you think?
True. I don't like forcing relationships on nobody, to be honest with you.
Right.
So my whole thing is this. It's the same way when I look at ridiculous, to me, what a ridiculous reality shows are.
Yeah.
I say these people keep engaging each other, and the only thing that can be driving that is their TV time and a check that they get.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, these folks would not deal with each other in real life. So I'm like, why would you even do that?
Right.
So
right.
if there's not a financial reason or aspect for me to say you need to engage this person,
Right. Right.
I'm not going to do that. I think
Yeah.
energy should be matched in a relationship.
Yeah. And if somebody hurt your family, hurt your spouse, then I don't know about y'all, but if somebody hurt my spouse, I'm done. Like, I don't want to have nothing to do with that person. And so for me, it's just like, I don't care about the relationship, the familyship, the kinship, none of that. I don't care. It's just like, you know what, we good.
And see, that's the thing for me, because I know I'll sit there and be like, okay, so this is what I have really bad.
But
And I've admitted this several times. I will burn a bridge with a family member before I burn a bridge with a friend. My reasoning behind that is because regardless, I didn't choose my family. I love my family. I truly do. I love my family, but I didn't choose my family.
right.
I chose my friends.
Right.
I chose to remain in relationships with my friends.
Yeah.
Now, true enough, some of those dissolve over time. You outgrow each other. There's distance between the two, between you, whatever the case may be. But for some reason in the back of my head, not saying that tomorrow is promised, I always feel like there should always be an opportunity to come back and heal that relationship with a family member, because
Right.
that's what they are, a family member. We're
Yeah.
we're gonna be tied together regardless. So
Right. Well, this is okay. So, it takes me a little longer to dissolve a relationship with a family member just because I feel like, um, I just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel, but it takes a little longer for me to dissolve that relationship, but I will do it. Like, if they're hurting my spouse, then it's an, remember that time I didn't speak to my mom for what, 3 months?
mm-hmm.
3 months because she said something to you that I didn't agree with. And I meant that wholeheartedly. I didn't talk to my other grandmother on my dad's side for 5 years because she said something about my spouse. And it is what it is,
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you on the other side, what if one of your friends hurt your spouse?
I mean, if I got bail money, we might be in the street. I mean, on the cool, I think there has to be, if you got a friend that's willing to cross that line to hurt your significant other, then that, to me, that's not a friend, because that means they're willing to hurt you.
Right.
Once you've chosen a person, especially if you're married, we're now one person. You're taking shots not only at the individual, but you're also taking shots at me because of my choice.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this out here.
Go ahead. I know what's coming. Go ahed.
Okay, so early on in our relationship, remember the friend that used to always talk bad about me?
Yeah.
So why did we continue to be friends with him all these years?
He?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to speak ill of him, but
right. Right. Well, here's the thing. I won't even say here, the dynamic of that relationship was, our perceptions of the relationship were different for me and that individual.
Okay.
That individual for me had shifted more into the associate realm.
Okay.
Versus the friendship realm. There was no regular communication.
Right.
If we talked, it was maybe over a 6-month time span, almost even a year.
Right.
So that was more of, okay, we have history, we cool, but we ain't that cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is that necessarily an excuse to continue a relationship? No, I think what it is, though, for me, is that it was still an opportunity for me to set things right or straight, so to speak, saying.
But at the cost of our relationship, because it was a couple of times that I was like, if you still friends with him, I can't do this.
But that was also a learning opportunity.
I mean, we were young. I mean, we were in our 20s, and so I give you that.
Because you still have to remember, for me, and this might speak for a lot of people. The nucleus of my family, for the most part, were made up of my friends.
I know.
So when I had a go-to, unlike you, who has this booming family in Fort Worth, Texas, my family is really small.
All 20,000 of us.
My family is real small. So the dynamics of my pseudo family, of course, were friends.
Yeah.
And when you say, okay, I'm about to cut ties, you mean you got to be like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. But I also like to get to a resolution, and I also like to be petty at times.
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate that about you, because you did have a conversation with me about, hey, let me try to handle this situation. Let me try to, I don't know, kind of like the go-between, because I don't know, whereas it felt like he was jealous of our relationship.
And that's what it was. Yeah. That's how, at least that's how I took it. What I did was I took stock of what our relationship looked like, and then what his relationships had been.
Right.
And where he was at that time.
Right.
So I can understand that I have something that you have spoke to numerous times, stating that you want. You want that.
Right.
This is the dynamic you're looking for. This is what you feel is going to make you and your life complete.
Yeah.
And if I have a past history of you not seeing what my engagement with is like with in my relationships, then when you turn around and you say, "Dang, he married now,"
Yeah.
you like, okay.
Yeah, he thought I took his friend.
He thought it.
I almost got nervous because I was like, hold on. did he like you or what? What's happening right now? I had never had a guy be jealous of a relationship like that.
But that's the thing.
Jealous of Stu being happy, yeah.
But
I think so.
And that's the thing. And that's part of it. I do believe that that's part of it.
He desired to have that.
Misery does like company, but what you're also doing is now you're also impacting somebody's. Everybody's got a shelf approach to things.
Yeah.
So, as much as folks don't want to admit it at times, you take people, you put them on a shelf, and then when you're ready to deal with them, you take them off the shelf.
Right.
Now, if you're sharing that person with somebody else, and I'm ready to go get you off the shelf, and it's gone, people have a problem with that.
Well, that's true.
That's like going.
That's true.
That's like going to Walmart during
Black Friday.
It can get ugly. It can get ugly.
Goodness. Yeah, I mean, if we just really be honest, in the beginning, man, we had some rough waters to try to tread through because people were coming at us right and left. It wasn't just, it was, yeah. I don't know. It was tumultuous in the beginning. Like, our relationship started off what I thought was quiet, but then remember all the hustle and bustle, the emails flying back and forth. Who is this chick? Why, you ain't showed us who she is. It's just one of those things that I'm just like, I didn't know that you answered to people. You answered to a tribe. I was like, golly, who are these people coming out the woodworks on me?
Well, that's the thing when you're part of a community. When you go through every relationship when it starts.
Was it your PV family?
Yeah, it was. Of course, it was. Yeah, it was my PV. Who you rooting for?
Stop.
But every relationship, whether it's a friendship or something that's leading down a road of intimacy and a reunion, every relationship has a honeymoon phase.
Yeah, that's true.
And already, when you go through that, you already know. When you go through a relationship, when you start a relationship, you go through the honeymoon phase, you basically close out the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything else around you.
Yeah.
Until that one day you decide to roll down a window or crack a window or open a door, and next thing you know, all kind of mess comes storming in.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with that.
So that gets back to the first question that was asked: how do you balance family, close friendships, considering your spouse is your priority? Over the last 20 years, we have made it our business that, like we said, the kids, the family, the friends is not our top priority. But we do understand that, sometimes I maybe want to just go and do what I do, shop by myself and be gone for hours. But that's therapy for me. And then he may want to...
I'm a geek out and game.
Gaming.
I would disappear into that black hole and let all of my stresses be taken out on a joystick.
Or if you go to the old neighborhood and you be over there for hours talking to your friends.
And that is
few and far between, but I'm just saying.
Well, regardless if it's few or far between, it's a catch up for me. It's me.
Right.
It's me putting my nose to the grapevine and hearing what's been going on in the circle of friends.
Oh, is that what it is? You feel disconnected? Poor thing.
I am disconnected at times, but a lot of times it's by choice.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily by design.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have those, like I have one friend that I think I really enjoy the engagement with him because he meets me where I am when it comes to my need for interaction. So
Right.
if we can't be here, we can't be in each other's presence physically, we video chat. And
Yeah.
since that's been my world for the last 7 years,
Right.
I
right.
welcome it. And I've tried to invite others into that, and they're like, man, I ain't finna do this. I'm like, okay, well, we ain't gonna talk then. Because to be honest with you, folks don't really stay engaged when they don't have something to look back at.
Right. Right.
So if it's just a voice, if you're on the phone, if I got you on speakerphone and I go quiet, then you might think I'm just not paying attention. But if you see me on video getting up doing stuff, then you're like, oh, okay, I got you. I see what you're doing.
Right. So, thank you guys for submitting the questions that you did. These are pretty good. And the fact that we could speak to all three of them in some form or fashion, maybe not completely the way that you were looking for, but just being able to speak to them. Going back to me being an introvert, my close friends and family, they don't see me as an introvert because I'm not when I'm with them. But if you're new and I just meet you and we're in a crowd, I mean, if you notice that when I go to events, usually I may volunteer. I may do something like that because it gets me in the room without having to interact. So I'm in the room, I'm doing something. I am, maybe engaging one or two people, but for the most part, I kind of lay low. And that's one of the things that that keeps me sane, because I do get anxiety. I really get anxiety.
I think too. I mean, and that's probably the most interesting question of the three for me, is because it leads me to ask the question: what kind of conversations are y'all having when y'all talk about each other's needs?
Right.
As an introvert, I need to know what your needs are. As an extrovert, you need to know what my needs are. And then that way we can decide on where the compromise is going to be.
Right.
It's like you pointed out. I was like, if I let you know far enough in advance, you can make a decision. She sounded a lot like me, because that's what I used to tell her. I need to be informed.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, if you are in a relationship with an introvert and you're looking to do something, you need to be informed whether or not they're going to be on board with whatever you plan on doing, and vice versa.
And so Dr. Kimberly, she says she is an introvert. I'm a witness, but she is highly skilled at knowing how to interact.
Woo.
It's a craft. I've over the years, practicing in the mirror. Just all of the above. Now, if it's something like small talk, now I don't know about that.
She don't do small talk.
I can't do small talk. It'll come off so awkward, and people be looking at me like, "What is she talking about?" But
she don't do small talk with me.
I don't.
So I know she can't do it with nobody else.
I'm like, dude, do you have something we need to discuss, or are you just talking right now?
I was like, nope, I'm just filling time.
What's the thing that I've been saying over the last few months about people? If they do too much, what?
You've told me so much. Right now, what I've been stuck on is that you're the CEO. So I'm trying to continue.
I'm saying, remember we watched TV and I'm like, oh, I got to change the channel. It's too much talking.
Yeah.
Too much talking. I'm like, why?
You ain't been saying that for the last few months. You've been saying that for like a year now. And I'm like, you turn this on. You watching this.
Right.
It's like when you get in the car with me and I got on sports radio. It's like, ooh, they talk too much. I'm like, they talk too much. Paid to do is talk.
And then Amara said, yes, this was good. You both were spot on. Thank you. And speaking of, you talking about I'm the CEO. I did that one time. I had an outburst. We went out to brunch and I was trying to tell this dude, this one, to give her a 20% tip. And he was like, I got it. I said, because I'm the CEO. And now he's stuck on that. I'm like, but I am the CEO.
Because I know it's going to come up again.
Well, I'm the CEO of this house.
So what does that make me again?
The chief operating officer. You the COO.
Wow. I didn't know that's how the framework of the dynamic worked. You want to speak to that one too?
Nah.
Yeah, 'cause-
I'll stay quiet on that.
yeah, that sounds like a conflict.
I'll stay quiet on that.
We're gonna take that one to the board.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, the COO actually is the person that operates the company. So that's you. The CEO is the face of the company. Come on now, let's do the right thing. Let's just say what this is.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
That's not how I see it. That's not how I see it.
All right. Okay.
Break
it down.
CEO keeps everything moving
No, they don't.
forward.
No, they don't.
Wow.
They make decisions after the COO brings the strategy.
Okay. Okay.
They just make the final decisions.
So as I was stating, the CEO is the one who keeps the machine moving, while the CEO is the visionary. Not to say I'm a visionary, but is a visionary and the individual who comes up with what our next step is going to be, and then the CEO comes up on how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
That don't make sense to you?
No, it makes sense.
Okay.
But just look at the roles. Who does what? Who the CEO? Who's the CEO?
I'm the CEO when it's convenient for you.
Okay. Mr. Davis.
Look at that. What? Yes. Final decision. Final decision.
I'm just saying. I mean, we do switch the CEO role.
Yeah.
We do.
We
like,
do.
I'm not going to lie about that. We do.
We tag team. I mean, there's no question about that. We have to. I think you have to be able to do that because your skill set and your experience in particular areas I might be weak in, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we have to make the most of our resources.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, I can't argue with that. But the fact of the matter,
I won one.
what? It's not even a competition. See, that's what I'm saying. This dude right here is not a competition.
Wow, just the way you put that.
You got your lane, I got my
Just the way you put that. Just the way you put it.
I didn't even mean it like that.
He's no competition.
I didn't even mean it like that. See, that's the way you taking it. But at the end
Read
of the
between
day,
the lines, good people. Read between the lines.
no,
Baron, if you're still in there, read between the lines. What they say.
no.
So yeah, that's what it is.
I guess so.
But on that last note, we greatly appreciate you joining us this
Yes,
Friday evening,
yes.
taking a little bit of your time this evening to hang out with us. If you want to continue this conversation, following us, we are here. Same time next week, Friday at 7 p.m.
Yep.
You can also follow us at Love Chemistry. You can go to Love Chemistry on Instagram as well as Love Chemistry Co. on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Those are ran by the COO.
The COO. I'm the CEO.
So
yes, thank y'all for joining us. We really, really appreciate everybody stopping in. Keep those questions coming. Like any topics that you have, drop them in Messenger and just let us know. Because definitely we're gonna come back. Sometimes we may just do an impromptu, but we definitely want to answer those questions and get that information out there. Once again, if you haven't already gotten your journal, you can go out there to lovechemistry.co and pick up your signed copy by the authors, which would be the CEO and myself. I think I got demoted. Anyways, if I owe you a journal, just know that I did drop the ball this week because I was stressed out at work. But they will be in the mail. I forgot to sign it, so sign them. So they'll be in the mail. And we owe one prize. And so, do you want to do the roll before we go? And our winner is tonight. Hold on. Give me a second. I came unprepared. I came unprepared tonight. So our winners tonight is Ticey Raven. Ticey Raven. So we will get that in the mail to you as well. So be on the lookout for next week. More topics, more prizes. We ready, y'all.
It's been a blast. You guys have a good night.
Bye.